1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran became an Islamic republic. Under the Islamic State, Iranian women lost many of rights gained under the previous regime. But even after the revolution, families continue to encourage education for women. This has led to many female school and university graduates. Nearly 70% of Iran's science and engineering students are women in 2006. This is beginning to have an effect on Iranian society. In this period of time, many NGOs and campaigns have been established for promoting women's rights in Iran. One of the most recognized campaigns is 1 million signature campaign or Change for Equality, which was officially established in 2006. The campaign aims to collect 1 million signatures to support a petition addressed to the Iranian parliament asking for reforms laws which was discriminate against women. Fix equal rights for women in marriage and divorce, an end to polygamy and temporary marriage, and increase the age of criminal responsibility to 18. The right for women to pass on nationality, equal compensation for bodily injury and death between women and male, and equal inheritance and testimony rights for women. This campaign growing quickly both inside and outside Iran. Activists start collecting signatures to raise awareness, visit on street, goes to homes, and visit face-to-face. Activists of inside Iran always threatened by government and arrested. These pressures increased after recent presidential election in 2009. Not only hundreds of activists arrested, but also their family members and lawyers threatened or arrested by government. Some of the famous names are Nasrin Sotoudeh, Shiva Nazarahari, and Bahar Hedayat. Bahar Hedayat is one of the brilliant feminist activists in Iran who was arrested for third time during recent years. Last time she was arrested on December 3, 2009 and serving 9.5-year sentence in jail. Hedayat currently faces 16 charges, ranging from propagating against the regime, action against national security, speaking with foreign media, and insulting president and supreme leader. Regarding to this project, I have some interviews with activists and Iranian actor who is interested about the human rights in Iran. Sheila Azari, one of women rights activists in Los Angeles, and Davud Roscoe, who is actor and also interested about human rights. He is living right now in Europe, and I have an interview with him via Skype. Could you please quickly introduce yourself and why you are interested about women's rights in Iran?
My name is Sheila Azari, and I'm a public relations and communications specialist. And I'm interested in the human rights issue in Iran, primarily because I'm a US-born Iranian American and come from a very political background. And it's very troubling for me to see the number of human rights atrocities that are taking place in Iran, and so I feel as a human being, every single one of us should feel compelled to do our part to fight the human rights offenses, not only in Iran but anywhere in the world.
My name is Davud. I'm an actor, and well, you asked me why I'm interested in women's. Actually, I'm interested generally in human rights, but of course because women are how would you say, usually in every society where you have problems, backlash, more of it. So, and I don't think Iran is an exception, and I believe because of the turmoil we are going through, so naturally women are more suppressed than the other part of the society. And I think, well, that's the simple reason that you maybe automatically get more concerned about what's happening to them.
How people and activists outside the Iran can help to improve women's rights in Iran?
I think the most important thing is to create awareness. I think that people in the United States and Canada and other countries have done a tremendous job, particularly in the last few years since the most recent election in Iran. in terms of just making the global community aware of what's going on in Iran. I think prior to the onslaught or introduction of social media, it was a little bit challenging. We would hear the stories of what went on, but there was never any actual footage to go with those stories. And of course, with the murder of Neda, I think it became very much an issue that's now top of mind, not only for Iranians, but people of all different ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds. And so I think the first thing, to answer your question, is to create awareness. You can't really take any action unless you're aware of what the issues are, unless you have a good understanding of what the drivers are behind some of the actions that the government's taking, and also to just create small, even localized activist efforts and getting involved in those, whether it be creating petitions online through avenues like Amnesty International or other smaller organizations that are fighting for human rights, just to make your voice heard. For instance, working on a project like this one, where you just have a video and you have really at your liberty the option to distribute that as widely or as broadly as you like to. Just imagine taking this video clip and disseminating it among different universities, reaching different students. How many more people will actually become aware of these issues? And even if one person takes action, I would say that it would be worth it.
There is some sad kinds of comment we hear constantly in especially in Western media, and they speak about the increased pressure on women or human rights activists. There is no increased pressure. This pressure has always been like that. The pressures have always been like that. The thing is, right now, obviously, thanks to the technology, and also maybe as a consequence of it, that the fact that people got more involved and the world got more kinds of have put more attention towards what's happening in Iran. So naturally, the problem have come into the focus right now. So the thing is, what we are seeing right now, people, just because, again, I emphasize this, again, in West, because they have been more, how would you say, they have started to hear more about this. By whatever reason, we can go more in detail later in the interview. They think the pressure had increased on human rights activists or female activists or, let's say, feminist movement inside the country. But the thing is that these pressure have been going on all these years since Islamic Republic was established. And the answering your second question, what can we do? Of course, there is always, I believe at this stage, everybody is quite convinced that whatever outcome we are desiring, it's actually going to be out of a cooperation between Iranian, people outside, regardless of they're Iranian or not, but people who are involved, who are interested in these questions, both from the help outside and inside, as you mentioned, because of the certain limitation inside, our role, our responsibility becomes even more multitasked, or I don't know if you would like to call it heavier. Then it depends on, you see, I would put it that way, that you can actually you can approach it from different point of view. On one part, you can say, okay, as a general approach, it's upon every human being, again, not only Iranian, but every human being with a sense of humanity, with a sense of caring towards other human being, that they take a stand, and they simply try approach whatever mean they can come across to express their dissatisfaction about this. Let's say they are opposing what is all these abuse that are going right now inside Iran. But that's general approach. That's upon every Iranian. I'm really emphasizing it again. Every Iranian, and I really don't care, because right now, unfortunately, I've come across many people who say, okay, I'm not going in front of the embassy to a demonstration because I'm going back to Iran for the summer. Right now, we have no time for these kinds of self-absorbed, egocentric approach. Right now, it's about giving everything. If going in front of embassy, if going to a demonstration, if signing a petition means that I should cancel my trip to Iran, I should do that. Because right now, people are inside Iran, people are investing from their life. They're simply investing from their blood. And I think that's the least we can do. We just do whatever we need to reach the target, which simply is the removal of the so-called Islamic Republic of Iran, the regime.
Those of us who are in the United States have a little bit more freedom, to be vocal. Unfortunately, those in Iran are a little bit more obviously limited for obvious reasons. So I think that particularly the Iranian American community here in the United States has a responsibility, and I think the first part is they need to accept that responsibility rather than be indifferent about it. Many of us live here, we have pretty comfortable lives, and it's not until we actually are in the shoes of those people who are facing these challenges in Iran that we would understand what's really happening. But once it happens to somebody close to you or somebody that you somehow have a connection to, you really start to feel the burden, that has on their lives. So my wish for people is to, even without having that association, just to put themselves in the shoes of somebody like Haft-e who's dealing with that, or someone whose sentence has been changed from, let's say, stoning to death to an execution by hanging. I mean, just imagine the psychological torture that person goes through. So just to have an appreciation for the freedom that we have here, and to do our part to make sure that people around the world are aware of what's going on in Iran, and for the government to put more pressure on Iran, whether it be through sanctions or other forms of international pressure. I think that's really what's necessary.